Hi everyone, this is Dr. R. Tulasiram, Associate Professor, Department of Social Sciences, Faculty of Agricultural Sciences, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research, Chennai. Today, the topic for discussion is importance and characteristic features of Indian rural society. So this is one of the important topics that is coming under the course Rural Sociology and Educational Psychology. So this particular course consists of two sections. That is, the first section is rural sociology and the second section is educational psychology. And this particular lecture is coming under the first part of this course called rural sociology. Let us move on to the topic. First of all, before going deep into the topic, we should know some of the basic things about agriculture. Agriculture refers to as deliberate land modification through plant cultivation and raising animals for food or profit. Actually, why it is mentioned like food or profit? Because not all the farmers are cultivating crops for selling. Most of the farmers cultivating crops for the betterment of their personal life. That is, they will cultivate crop, they will harvest it, and they can make use of these crops for household consumptions. So many of the Indian farmers are following subsistence farming. That is, they cultivate their own food. And some part of the farmers in our country, they cultivate crops for making profit. So deliberately they are doing cultivation, the piece of plant to raise a crop, and then finally they make use of the crop either by eating it or by selling it. So this is with regard to the importance of agriculture in India, and one of the pioneer institution that serves for agriculture in our country is ICAR, that is Indian Council of Agricultural Research. So it consists of three sections: research, extension, and education. So research is being conducted by research stations, which is available in all the states of our country, India. That is, you have research stations for each and every crops. They conduct research trials and demonstrations, field demonstrations, etc., for the betterment of a crop, through which they can able to release new varieties of that particular crop. Extension is, you have lots of technologies in agriculture. Say, for example, you have precision farming, system of rice intensification, you have other technologies also in different cultivation methods. So these technologies has to be transferred from the universities and research stations to the villagers and farmers who are available in deep interior villages of our country. So this technology of agriculture has to be transferred from the research people to the farmers. That is called as extension. And third one is education, where we have state agricultural universities and central agricultural universities and some research stations that also conduct diploma classes for the students of our country. So these three are the importance of ICAR in promoting agriculture in our country. So some of the main extension works in our country with related to agriculture is being done by ICAR, state agricultural universities, research institutions, Krishi Vigyan Kendra, that is KVK. And Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare is also responsible for this, under which you have State Department of Agriculture and State Department of Horticulture, inside which the agriculture graduates are working as agriculture officers and horticulture officers for the betterment of the block level development in agriculture. And you have Ministry of Rural Development. You can also have NGOs, voluntary organizations, and other trust that serves for the agriculture in India. So this is Mr. Trilochan Mohapatra. He is the ICAR Director General at present. So under him everything is happening. So this is the web page of ICAR. It is just one of the connection pages of ICAR. So you have a main web page in ICAR that will lead you to different portals of ICAR, right? Even the exams that is being conducted for all the agriculture graduates and the postgraduates in agriculture will be conducted through ICAR websites, and the information will be passed on in this website, right? So as I told you, this particular course that consists of two sections. The first section is rural sociology, inside which you have Indian society. So first of all, we will understand what is sociology. It is the scientific study of human behavior in groups and of the social forces that influence that behavior. That is how the human behavior behaves and how it is getting influenced in a society, because I cannot live alone in this society. So when I try to live in this society, the core characters, the core behavior of myself will get changed based on the society in which I live. So it is a scientific study of human society and also the social behavior. It is a systematic and objective study of society and also the social behavior. So there are lots of definitions given by different sociologists. I can quote the definition given by Mr. Max Weber. It is a science which attempts the interpretive understanding of social man. That is, who is a man and how he is related with his society. So it is just a relationship between a human being and the society in which he belongs to. So how sociology fits? No, it consists of economics, it consists of psychology, sometimes it consists of anthropology. Political science also related, because I mean, in the rural area, you can relate this rural area to politics also. You have some history about Indian rural society. You can talk about the geography, and also you need to talk about the communication studies also, because as I told you, the extension education is transfer of technology from scientists to the village people, that is farmers. You need to be well enough in communication. Okay, you need to be strong enough in communication, right? So that consists of everything. So rural sociology involves the study of human relationship in rural situation, right? So the topic of today's discussion is importances and characteristics of Indian rural society. So why we take rural society into concern? Why can't we take urban society? In the sense, India lives in village, so we need to consider about Indian rural society. So when we study about sociology, we need to study about rural sociology, because we are agriculturists. So it is a study of sociological life in rural setting to discover their conditions and tendencies and to formulate principles of progress and development. So he is August Comte. He is considered as the father of rural sociology, and he coined this term called sociology in the year 1837. So socio is actually a Latin word which means society, and logos means, it is a Greek word, it means science. So the society, it deals with the science, I mean the sociology deals with the science of society, that is study of society. When we try to study the society, we need to study about the rural society, because India lives in rural areas. And when we study about the society, you need to study about agriculture also. So this tells the nature of rural sociology, because it consists of some scientific methods, it consists of some factual studies. It is highly problem oriented, because when we go to a village to study about the village, the structures, functions, etc., you need to know about the problem that they face now, right? So if you come to know about their problems, if possible, you can give suggestions based on the problem. And you can also have discovery of cause and effect. If something is happening in a village, you can know what is happening, and you should also be able to deliver the control measures to get rid of such problems. And it also consists of universal law and also some predictions. So it will include some of the other nature also. It is a new branch of science. It is an empirical discipline. It is highly problem oriented. It is concerned with comparative study. So it becomes inevitable to avoid the rural studies, because more and more of rural regions will comprise us to give overall state or a country. So what is the aim of the aim to study rural sociology? Why do we go for the study? So to study in a scientific manner the rural society and its various aspects and complexities, the problems faced by the rural people. To study the structure, function, and objectives, tendencies of development of the rural society. To discover the laws of the development of rural society, and also to make scientific study of the rural society in order to help in the task of planning for the reconstruction of the rural social life. Right. So the major scope of rural sociology is, the name itself indicates, it is a scientific study of rural social life. It studies the society of rural life in all its aspects: infrastructure, facilities, problems that they face, facilities they are given with, and facilities they are lacking with. So in fact, this basic thing is the subject matter or scope of rural sociology. Right. So in rural sociology, you have different types of components. The first and foremost important component is rural social organization. So you have social groups in a rural society that may be based on community, caste, on religions, that may be based on the occupation of the rural people. They have been split into different social groups. And you also have social organizations too in a rural society. While studying the rural society, the rural sociology makes a study of all the problems of various rural social organizations such as Red Cross Society, cooperative movements, etc. Right. So next one is the rural social institutions. Okay. So these institutions are available in each and every rural area. Okay. But basically that starts with the family. Apart from family, you have education institutions, social institutions, government and institutions, right? Like Panchayat Union office is there. Okay. Agriculture offices are there. That also runs under the government of state, state and central. So out of all these rural social institutions, the major rural social institution is family. That is the base for each and every human being. Without study of rural sociology shall be complete unless the rural social institutions like family, neighborhood, marriage, caste, religion, economic and educational institutions are studied. So next we also have in sociology, we also have rural social process. That is when the human beings get accumulated in a particular place. Say for example, in a village, if we as a human beings, we meet together, we may have some social process. That is social process in the sense, the relationship between human beings in a society. So here we take rural society. So inside a rural society, how the human beings are getting related. The relationship may be cooperation. That is, someone can help me in doing my work and I can help someone for doing their work. And there may be competition between two people, like, I have to beat him to get my place and he has to beat me to get his place. That is competition and so on. The study of rural society shall not be complete unless all these social processes are studied thoroughly and properly in a scientific manner. And sometimes the social process consists of, apart from competition and cooperation, consists of opposition, right? Opposition in the sense, you don't have a good relationship with other. So either you can treat it as a competition or you can treat it as a conflict. That basic difference between competition and conflict. Competition, you will look to win. Okay, you will look to beat others, but in conflict, you will try to destroy others to win. Okay, to get a win, you will try to destroy others. That is called as conflict. You will put bad name for others' work. You will just try to spoil others' name. That is called as conflict. So when we talk on the stage, when we talk about our party, political party or something, we have to blame other party to give good name for our party, right? So that is other party will be blaming. So that is called as conflict. And cooperation also, you have accommodation, assimilation and acculturation. That is when you are belonging to a particular culture, when you try to meet some other person, slowly their culture will come into you. You will change your culture. Okay, so that is called as acculturation, transfer of one culture to another. Accommodation, assimilation is, so the core character of myself can get into some other person. Okay, and sometimes when I get into a new place or society or house or something, I will try to accommodate and adjust myself with that new environment. That is called as accommodation. Right. So next one we come across in rural sociology is social control and social change in rural social setup. Social control in the sense, what are the controls that is being posed on rural people and other human beings in general to have a good life. Okay, they will be given with some morals, they will be given with some rules, laws and regulations to have a controlled life. So whatever we do, we will have a control. If I am a staff member of a particular university, I'll be given with certain norms and rules to be followed in my university. The students are getting educated from my institution, they will be forced with certain rules and regulations. So that is called as social control. So each and every place, there will be social control. Social change in the sense, you have infrastructure facilities, you have technology, development, etc. How you experience change with respect to all these things over the years. That is called as social change. Say for example, before 30 years, in our rural society, I mean, very rarely people will have bicycles, motorcycles, cars, etc. After 20 years, each and every household started having motorbikes. After 20 years, now by 2010 to 2021, everyone, most of the people, they have motorbikes in their villages, and even some of the people, at least 10% of the rural people, they have cars with them. Okay, this is called social change. How the technology has been progressed in that particular society, that is also called as social change. How the education has improved, how the technology is getting upgraded. Okay, so that is called as social change. The urban life normally influences the rural life in all these aspects. So by seeing the urban people, the rural people will also get upgraded in all these activities. So they influences the rural life. Thus, this is in fact is very much responsible for social change. Factors of social control and social change form part of the scope of the study of rural sociology. As I said, social change refers to any significant alterations or development over time in behavior patterns and norms. Even when you have some rules and regulations now, it cannot be available after 10 years. And the new rule that comes after 10 years, that may not be available after 20 years. So that is the change that we experience in our society, and that is called as social change. So next one is rural planning and reconstruction. So major thing that we need to focus to study about the rural society is the infrastructure facilities. Okay, the rural society needs reconstruction. It has to be done in a planned manner through some project schemes, etc. Proper guidance is provided by the scientific study of the rural sociology is to provide guidance to the institutions that are engaged in such tasks to improve the rural reconstructions in any society. Therefore, the rural planning and reconstructions form a subject matter of the study of rural sociology. So this is also being included inside rural sociology. So next important thing in rural sociology is religion and culture in the society. So in rural society, religion plays an important role, and cultural differences in these society is typical. Rural sociology studies all the aspects of religion and culture in which the human behavior, the human beings live. The culture is social behavior and norms found in human society. So you can see the pictures in each and everything, the way they play, the way they eat, the way they occupy, right? The rural area, the way they settle in a rural area, the way they worship gods inside the society. Now it differs from person to person and culture to culture. So next important aspect of a rural society is rural problems and rural community. So rural problems have to be viewed not from an isolated angle, but from a comprehensive point of view. We need to give justifications, and we need to know both the cause and effect of any problem that exists in a rural society. The problems of rural community are a part of the problems of the society as a whole, and they have to be viewed in very serious context. So now, from now on, we'll be dealing with some of the other importance of rural sociology in extension education. So before going into this topic, we should understand the importance of agriculture in our country, right? So we are ranking the top in most of the production, starting from milk, wheat, rice, tea, sugarcane, spices, livestock population, and etc. And in broiler and in egg production also, India ranks in the among top 5. So based on these importance, there has to be some intervention required in agricultural marketing, food processing policies, and value chain management. So these are the areas in which the government intervention is in need. So some of the challenges that we face in extension, as I told you, we have different technology, but it is available only with the research stations, scientists, and other universities, which is available in state and central area. But what we need to do as an extension officer, we need to transfer these techniques to the farmers in the rural area. So what problem that we face to do such transfers? The Indian population is high, and the geographic area is also too high. The number of villages to be covered by these extension officials is about 9 lakh villages. Number of crops and allied activities to be handled is more. The level of literacy among farmers and villages are too low, so that the extension officers find difficult to communicate with them and also to convince them to follow a new technology. Financial conditions of farmers are poor, and still many of the villages are not being given with agricultural credit facilities in deep interior villages of our country. And infrastructure facilities to reach the villages, that is also poor, because in many villages, they don't have road access to reach the nearby market once they have harvested their agricultural crops. And there is a lack of financial resources with government agencies, and there is lack of proper training and retraining for the extension officials. So these are some of the importance of rural sociology in our country. So villages are the center of Indian culture, and India is an agricultural country, and poverty of this country can be removed only the agriculture is getting improved. Solution to these rural problems can bring out the changes in rural society. The country and its society can be reconstructed only through rural reconstruction. And in the interest of democratic decentralization of village, the community is to be studied in as a whole. Right. So then we will just deal with this word called society. Society is a group of people who have lived together long enough, sharing common values and interests to be considered by others and by themselves as a social unit. It is a complex of organized associations and institutions within the community, because you have a community where you have lots of discriminations with respect to color, caste, community, religions, etc. Even by occupation, there are some different groups. So out of all these problems, we have to live as an unit in a society. Right. So basically, you have two different types of society. So one is a rural society, which depends highly on agriculture. Nearly 70% of Indian population depends on agriculture and allied activities. It is not only agriculture, you have horticulture, sericulture, business, animal husbandry, livestock rearing, etc. So the other society in our country is urban society. As I told you, this urban society is highly influencing the rural society in terms of infrastructure facilities and other job occupation opportunities, etc. Even the living styles and standard of living also nowadays in the rural area, it is getting changed according to the changes made by the urban people. So now it is very important to understand, to know about the rural society. It is very much important to compare this Indian rural society with the Indian urban society. So based on different parameters, we can compare rural society with the urban society. That be so clear. So first parameter that we take into consideration to compare these two things is occupation. So the totality of cultivators and their families, that is in rural area, they follow only agriculture, and totality of people engaged principally in manufacturing, trade, commerce, professions, and non-agricultural occupations. That is, the left-hand side, rural people are agricultural community, and right-hand side, they are non-farming population. And this population, the left-hand side, that will feed the other population. In return, they will pay them for the product that is being delivered. Second parameter that we need to consider is environment. So there will be a direct relationship with nature in rural area, and in urban area, you don't have any relationship between the nature, right? So it is highly artificial in where we live. Third one is the size of community. The rurality and size of the community are not correlated. Urbanity and the size of community is positively correlated. That is, when the village gets more and more rural, it doesn't deal with the population. But whereas in urban area, when it gets more and more urban, the population will be getting increased because of the migration, that is people who comes from other places to such urban places. The fourth one is heterogeneity and homogeneity of population. The population that lives inside a rural area, that is highly homogeneity, that is they share common interest and behavior. But whereas in urban area, the human nature, it is heterogeneous. You have variety of people in urban area. The fifth characteristic features is culture. So it is quite conservative and tradition bound in the rural area. They are so orthodox. Whereas in urban area, they are free from conservation. No regulations or controls have been posed on them when compared to rural area. And the tradition is also so relaxed. And they are guided by superstitious belief and age-old customs in the rural area. They do not accept the importance of science. But whereas in urban area, it is free from superstitious beliefs and age customs. They are influenced by the scientific inventions which bring about the social changes in their everyday life. That is why the social change, when it is compared with rural and urban area, it will be high in urban area than the rural area. The next one is social mobility. That is the movement of people from one place to another. And the social mobility in urban area is more because of lots of scope for occupation, because normally people move from one place to another. They migrate only because of the occupation or any other need, and whatever they need that will be available in the place of destination. That is why they migrate. Whereas in rural area, they lack social mobility. Okay, they don't move from place to place. And the occupation is highly determined by tradition and customs in rural area. That is, if I do a job in my rural society, my son, my grandson will be also doing the same job mostly. Unless or otherwise, I have been treated with some good motivation. Whereas in urban area, the occupation differs according to the skill that each and every human being possesses. The eighth characteristic features is system of interactions. It is less contact per man, a narrow area of interactions, and more of primary contacts in the rural area. The man is interacted as a human person. But whereas in urban area, each and every man is given with a specific number and address, and it is so artificial, and you may have numerous contact, and you have wide area of contact, and there will be a predominance of secondary contacts also. Next one is social control. It is informal in rural area because of size of the community, because you cannot control all the people in a single take. But whereas it is highly formal because of the laws and regulations that is available in urban area. The social change, it takes place very at slow rate in rural area because they don't accept scientific inventions. Whereas in urban area, they are highly educated, and often they accept inventions that reduces the time of them, that reduces the time spent by each and every individual to complete a work, etc. The next one is social tolerance and family domination. You have more tolerance in rural area because they do not face the new situation, because everything is getting regular there, and there will be cultural uniformity that they lacks in variety. They don't have different caste. And family is the most dominant institution, as I told you in one of the slides. A family is the most dominant institution. And they are less tolerant because people often face new situations. The culture, it varies from people to people because there will be lots of migrated population to our country, rural areas. So there will be variety in their behavior, custom, religions, etc. Next one is status of women. It is one of the important things to be considered when we compare the importance of rural and urban society. They are inferior to men in rural area. Their role is to confine only to the house. They don't go for other occupations, and they don't have any freedom at all. Whereas in urban area, they are on par with men, and they're free to take part in outdoor activities on par with men. They also enjoy a good deal of freedom as compared to the men. Next one is neighborhood environment. They have important place in rural area. It's based on cooperation and mutual goodwill you can see in rural area. Whereas in urban area, it is not at all important, and each and everyone will look into their own life. And regarding the leaders, it is based on personal characters, and in urban area, it is more of impersonal leaders. And solidarity is stronger and informal in rural area, and it is less predominant in urban area. The income of rural people is less when compared to the urban people, and the sense of belongingness is more in rural area. That is, they don't sacrifice, they cannot get convinced with any people when they compare rural area with any other area. Okay, they will get whatever they wish, and they will always like to be in that place. Right. So now we'll see some of the important characteristic features of Indian rural society. So agriculture is the main occupation of our rural people, because India lives in villages, and there will be big farmers, small farmers, marginal farmers. It is based on the land holding of such farmers. And caste is the dominant institution of a village. It is very peculiar in our Indian villages. There are lots of discriminations among people, and even the caste will be distinguished based on the occupation of such people. Carpenters, cobblers, smith, washermen, agricultural laborers, all are given with a different name of caste. The third characteristic features is religious and caste composition of village largely determines its characters. And each village is independent. Okay, they have whatever they want to have. Village settlements are governed by certain traditions. The rural society is self-sufficient. That is, they can able to produce what they want to eat. Okay, it is self-sufficiency. I can produce what I want to consume on my own. And as a territorial, social, economic, and religious unit, the village is a separate and distinct entity. And it is common to find out a sense of attachment towards own settlement site. And village is characterized by isolation. Some of the villages are deep interior and it is getting isolated from the urban area. So if they want to get any basic facilities like medications, etc., or education, etc., they have to travel all along for some 15 kilometers to reach the nearby town. The next one is the chief characteristic feature of rural life is homogeneity. People are saying there are not many differences among people pertaining to income, status, etc. The other characteristic features are less density of population, that is the density in the sense in a square feet area, how many people are there. So that is the density of population, it is very less. And the movement, there is migration of people from one place to another is also less. The education literacy rate is less, and they are very simple, tradition bound. You can see fatalism and believing in superstitious belief, etc. Right. So far we have seen some of the importance of Indian rural society. So when we were talking about the basic about society, sociology, and agricultural extension, but why we have focused much on Indian rural society, because India lives in villages and the predominant occupation of Indian villages are agriculture. As an agriculturist, we need to concentrate much on Indian rural society compared to the urban society. To know much about the Indian rural society, we have compared the society with the urban society by keeping in mind some 18 or 17 odd parameters to have a comparison between rural and urban society. So India lives in villages, agriculture is our occupation. So to know about Indian culture and society, you need to know about agriculture in that society. To know about agriculture in the society, we need to know about much about the farmers before going to. So that the study of human beings and study of society is called as rural sociology. So that's all for today's class. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. We'll meet again in the future course of time with an interesting lecture. Thank you.